evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. Here's what's making news right now.
We face a tsunami of new cases in the days and weeks ahead. And as we do, virtually everyone in this province will know someone who has been exposed to this virus.
Now that we have children being vaccinated, now that we have all of these new precautions in place, like at-home testing and that kind of stuff, it just seems ridiculous to me. Like, how is the government expecting us to maintain full-time jobs?
Me personally, like, getting really tired. It's been a while and very disappointing and frustrating.
Thanks for joining us. Premier Ford has addressed Ontarians for the first time of the new year, but the content of his remarks were not what anyone wanted to hear. Ontario is going back to step 2 of the reopening phase. It means a host of new restrictions and closures are on the way. Our Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley has the latest.
A new year at Queen's Park with a new surge of COVID-19 unlike anything the province has seen. Inside, the Premier delivers a blunt warning. Brace for impact.
We're going to get hit like a tsunami.
The province's health agency forecasts that within a week or two, Ontario's hospitals will have more patients than beds and too few staff to take care of them.
The report, I was told that we could see hundreds of thousands of cases. Let's be conservative. Let's say 100,000 cases or 200,000. That's a day.
Even if Ontario is seeing just 50,000 new infections a day, and even with Omicron's low hospitalization rate, that would soon mean 500 more people needing a hospital bed every day. That's twice as high as the pandemic record.
Over the last week or so, a lot of my colleagues started seeing patients who were sick and being admitted with COVID into the hospital, both onto the wards and into the ICU. And now, as we predicted, I think there's going to be a huge, exponential rise in that. So I think that in the next 2 to 4 weeks, we're really going to be hit hard.
So to try to lessen the impact on hospitals, the government is doing pretty much what it did a year ago, shutting down indoor service at restaurants and bars, closing gyms and movie theaters, and limiting indoor gatherings to 5 people. All that takes effect just after midnight tomorrow night and will last for at least 3 weeks.
Now these decisions will disappoint people, they will confuse some people, and they will anger some people. I understand all those reactions.
Classes for Ontario's 2 million school kids go online for at least 2 weeks. The rationale? That otherwise there'd be turmoil, with schools getting shut abruptly as cases spread.
These are the hardest decisions I make, but we follow the data. And the fact is this: Omicron spreads like wildfire.
The question now is whether these measures will work.
I appreciate the concern about not having our hospitals overwhelmed, but I didn't see a clear plan as to how these pieces will go together to help us weather the storm for the next 2-3 weeks.
That storm is not just going to hit hospitals, but wherever you work. Whether it's people calling in sick with COVID or having to isolate because of exposure, Ontario's chief medical officer predicts that workplace absenteeism in the coming weeks will hit 20 to 30%. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
With the latest directive from the province, parents in our region are once again figuring out how to handle having their kids learning from home while doing their jobs at the same time. Now, as you heard, that'll be the case for at least the next 2 weeks. Jacob Barker has been following the story and joins me now live. Jacob, how are parents feeling about all this?
Well, it isn't being welcomed with open arms. Classes have been bouncing in and out of in-school learning and at-home learning since 2020. For parents who are trying to balance work and other things in their lives, it isn't easy.
Well, it's tough because I don't have daily childcare for my son, so I'm again in the position of attempting to assist him. He's only in grade 1 with his online and either make money or not yet again.
Luckily, the university pushed back their start date to the 17th. So as long as the kids go back to school in person on the 17th, I should be fine. But if they push it back further, I'll be in a situation where I'm not only now going to have to do homeschooling for my 6-year-old, homeschooling for my 13-year-old, but also my own schooling as well, which, as we know, university lectures don't exactly fall in a normal schedule.
Now, last week, the province was saying that classes would go ahead on Wednesday, and it would give them 2 days to distribute N95 masks and deploy an extra 3,000 ventilation units to schools. Today, the public school board says it has yet to receive any masks, and the Catholic school board says it expects to receive them in the next few days. It also says it expects to get 30 new ventilation systems. I spoke with an infectious disease physician about whether or not it was a good thing to keep kids out of school for the next few weeks. He says it's important to keep students learning in schools, and while he understands the province's decision, it is disappointing.
The reason why kids should be in school is because it is a developmental need. It is essential for them, not just for learning and not just for place for them to be. But, you do wonder if the goal is to deal with people off on sick leave, like if it's a staffing issue, we're creating or potentially creating other staffing issues as a downstream consequence. So I'm not really sure, of the math there. Maybe it is going to be a benefit.
Aliso says he still hasn't heard a line from the province about what measures will be put in place on the 17th if students are able to go back to school by then. Reporters repeatedly pressed officials about this at today's news conference, and other than the masks and the ventilation systems, there was not much of a roadmap for how to get back in classrooms was given.
Thanks for this, Jacob. CBC's Jacob Barker live tonight. And affected businesses in Windsor are also reeling over the latest news, including the one about the closure of indoor dining. For one cafe owner, it's frustrating to have to take yet another step backwards.
First of all, we are very frustrated at the new restrictions and stuff. We thought there is no lockdown anymore from previous announcements. And we've actually just opened up our indoor dining only a few months ago. It's definitely gonna kill the momentum because we started getting back to it, but then it's gonna definitely slow us down. And hopefully, Windsor's pretty big on supporting local, and the community is really, really nice and respectful. So I know there are gonna be people supporting local businesses, but of course it's gonna it's not gonna be as busy as previous rules.
Today, we heard about the dire warnings from the government and health officials, the potential for thousands of COVID hospitalizations in Ontario. That risk as staff themselves are getting infected. The CBC's Chris Ensing with a look at the spread among local healthcare workers.
Not another wave. The Premier was clear.
We're going to get hit like a tsunami.
Cases are at overwhelming numbers. PCR tests now reserved for high-risk people. Daily COVID counts will severely underestimate actual community spread, so a new metric to monitor.
It's all about monitoring the impact on the healthcare system. Because this is so transmissible, passing so rapidly through our communities, that is the burden that we're trying to prevent.
Regional hospital systems already recognizing the rapid spread. The number of staff unable to work at Windsor Regional Hospital tripled in 5 days.
This rapid rise of Omicron cases, combined with staff absenteeism due to Omicron infection and exposure, could result in the province's hospital capacity becoming overwhelmed.
In Quebec, healthcare workers who are positive or close contact of a case have been allowed to return to work under certain criteria if they aren't showing symptoms. There's a protocol for that here at Windsor Regional Hospital, says the CEO, but they haven't had to put that in place yet. They are looking at potential changes to healthcare workers who are close contacts of a positive case, but as of now, nothing's changed here in Windsor. But one thing has helped, he says, and that's the addition of local student nurses.
We've hired hundreds of them, and they are working side by each with our employees, and they are employed by us. And without them, seriously, it would be difficult to get through COVID and get through this pandemic
We had great feedback from the students. It's one thing to work in a lab on campus, but to work with real patients and working with their future colleague nurses and being mentored and working, having that opportunity to help was a great success for all.
Another tool at Windsor's disposal, reactivating the field hospital at St. Clair. It's not being discussed just yet, ramping up staffing, the main focus for hospitals, with warnings that this is the start of a very infectious wave.
Brace for impact.
Chris Hensing, CBC News, Windsor.
To international news now. Despite surging case counts, England is not introducing any new COVID restrictions, at least for now. But the decision appears to have as much to do with politics inside the Conservative Party as it does with the health risks of the Omicron variant. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is coming off a historic revolt that saw members of his own party vote against his COVID restrictions. It's the latest in a series of controversies putting Johnson's political future in question. CBC's Farah Morelli has more.
Nestled along the river, the scenic village of Thames Ditton, a community that has voted Conservative for 115 years. But on the high street, mixed reviews of Tory Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
I think he speaks utter rubbish. No one believes a word he says anymore.
I think charismatically he is right up there, and I think he definitely gets down with the working class.
What's so significant about this constituency? The MP is Dominic Raab, the Deputy Prime Minister and one of the leading members of the campaign to get the UK out of the EU.
But the feeling here is one of disappointment.
What do you mean Brexit's good for us? Look what's happened. If anybody sees what's been going on over the last year, I think they should really open their eyes and think really carefully about what they really think that Tory values are.
The last year, a bumpy one for Johnson.
The Prime Minister has been caught red-handed.
With allegations he attended a Christmas party at 10 Downing Street in 2020, the night before he announced a countrywide lockdown. And the government's top spokesperson resigned after she was caught on camera joking about the party.
I will regret those remarks for the rest of my days.
He has suffered a series of setbacks that have called into question his competence, his fairness, but also his honesty.
But it's not just support among voters Johnson should be concerned about, says this expert.
The eyes to the right.
It's support within his own party, who in a historic revolt as Omicron cases surged, voted against his push to tighten COVID measures.
Specifically, the way that he's dealing with COVID is causing disquiet on the backbenches, and there are now rumours of outright rebellion and perhaps even the suggestions, though I do stress it's far off, of a possible leadership challenge.
Even as overflow centres pop up outside hospitals, Johnson still will not introduce new restrictions, a move some say could earn him back political support.
I think the way forward for the country as a whole is to continue with the path that we're on.
The path ahead paved with uncertainty. Less than 3 weeks ago, what was considered one of the safest Tory seats flipped Liberal Democrat in a by-election. A sign that allegiances and views may already be shifting.
3, 2, 1.
Farah Morelli, CBC News, London.
Police in South Africa have a suspect in custody after a major fire destroyed the country's main parliament chamber on Sunday. Authorities are still trying to determine if it was a deliberate attack.
If there's an attack on parliament, it is an attack on the democracy of the people of South Africa, which we so hardly fought for.
Firefighters had to return today to battle a new flare-up on the roof of the main building. No injuries have been reported. The nation's parliament was closed for the holidays. Extensive damage has been reported in parts of the 130-year-old complex of historic buildings. The 49-year-old man was arrested by police at the scene. He is due for a court appearance on Tuesday. He's facing charges of breaking and entering, theft, and arson. An Ottawa-based company is trying to change the way households across the country dispose of food waste. Food Cycle Science uses an innovative technology that speeds up the composting process to a matter of hours and recycles your food waste without emitting any methane gas. Now, the company is piloting their Food Cycler product to municipalities across Canada. Robin Miller has more.
At Food Cycle headquarters in Ottawa, employees are busy at work.
CEO Bradley Crepeau says the company is growing fast and the interest in food cyclers is too.
We're really aiming to offer solutions to the communities that don't easily have access to some of the traditional organics programs that are available in more densely populated cities.
So far, about 20 Canadian municipalities signed up to provide food cyclers to residents for a reduced cost and are having them track how much waste they divert. Food cyclers are small and can easily fit on kitchen countertops. Their impact, however, much larger, reducing the weight and volume of food waste by 90% in just 4 to 8 hours.
Everybody in a small municipality has the same problem, which is a lot of waste and not so much landfill space left, and we're coming to them with a solution.
Officials in Nelson, British Columbia liked the solution so much they have plans for a pre-treatment program that will include every household.
One of the reasons why this model for diverting organic waste is so attractive to our residents is because the soil amendment that comes out of the pre-treatment process is actually sterile and odorless. So it doesn't attract pest and wildlife, which for our community is a really big concern.
South Glengarry just wrapped up its pilot project, a township where landfills are either at or going to reach capacity within the next 13 years.
You know, small municipalities simply don't have the funds to continue to close landfills and open and or expand landfills. So we have to look at other options, and this is one small piece of the puzzle.
Right now, Food Cycle is targeting small, rural, and Indigenous communities, but hopes to one day be part of the solution in larger cities as well. Robin Miller, CBC News, Ottawa.
A live look outside there. We got overnight temperatures of around -6 degrees tonight, but then tomorrow, sunshine once again, and then we've got temperatures closer to 3 degrees, which should be nice. So Nick Cirkovich will be here right after the break, and he'll have a full weather breakdown for us. Stay with us. A happy new year to Nick Cirkovich. How's it going?
Yeah.
Hope you had a nice
changed.
break. I know.
Here we are.
Well, I wanted to tell you it's the first Monday of the new year, and I feel like we got that beautiful sun to help chase away those Monday/January scaries, which was nice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it did come with some colder temperatures, but you're right. Lots of sunshine in the forecast today, or sorry, lots of sunshine today, I should say. But again, coming with some cooler temperatures. Now, this is kind of our seasonal weather for this time of year. We've got temperatures right now sitting in the minus single digits for most places. -5 in Windsor. Gets a little colder as you head out toward Kitchener-Waterloo. Not much to speak of in terms of the winds, but it doesn't take much to drop the wind chill rather, -11 with the wind chill in Windsor, and you'll notice it feels even colder as you head further toward the east. It has come with a lot of sunshine, as Katarina had said. We've got some cloud cover, though, moving in, but not for about a day or so. So clear skies tonight. As we head through the next 24 hours, generally clear skies. We'll see cloud cover staying more toward the north. So Windsor should be in for some generally sunny skies. Late in the day, though, we'll see some increase in cloud cover. Mostly high cloud cover to start, though, and that's with an approaching system. This one bringing with it a few flurries as we head through Tuesday night into Wednesday, but nothing really accumulating here. Any of the accumulations will be further up toward Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Just some cloud cover there. Now, with all of that, though, we've got warming temperatures as well. In terms of the winds, we'll see wind gusts up to about 40 kilometers per hour through tomorrow, but Wednesday is going to be a windy one there. Gusts up to about 60, even 70 kilometers per hour for some areas across the forecast region. For tonight, we're looking at overnight lows of -6, -7 degrees under mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, mainly sunny skies, increasing cloud cover through the latter part of the day, though, and temperatures in the plus single-digit range. So a little bit above seasonal, which is a nice change compared to what we saw today. 3 degrees tomorrow, 0 on Wednesday with a few flurries, even mixed with some light rain showers there. Windy, though, on Wednesday, and then a front moves through, a drop in temperatures, and we're back into the cold weather once again. So enjoy the sunshine tomorrow morning. Enjoy the warm weather before we get back into the cold snap.
Exactly. Got to soak it up while we can.
That's
Thanks
right.
for this, Nick.
You bet.
And when we come back, we'll tell you about how some cities are working to keep coyotes away from people. That's right after the break. Stay with us. Details have been released about a deal between Jeffrey Epstein and the woman who is accusing Prince Andrew of sexual misconduct. Virginia Giuffre says she was introduced to the prince by Epstein. She says Epstein trafficked her for sex when she was underage. Epstein, a convicted sex offender, died by suicide in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019 while he was waiting for trial on further sex abuse charges. Giuffre is suing Prince Andrew, claiming he sexually assaulted her when she was a teenager. Today, a judge in New York unsealed some of the documents related to a $500,000 settlement reached between Giuffre and Epstein in 2009. That settlement includes a paragraph that says it protects anyone, quote, who could have been included as a potential defendant from lawsuits filed by Giuffre. The prince claims that protects him from the current lawsuit. Prince Andrew denies ever having sex with Giuffre. He says he has no recollection of ever meeting her. Smartphone pioneer Blackberry is taking a big step away from the phone business to concentrate its effort on software. Starting tomorrow, the company will be decommissioning services for many of its older phone models. Devices running the company's legacy services and software, including OS 7.1 and earlier, BlackBerry 10, and BlackBerry Playbook OS 2.1 will no longer have reliable data, phone call, text message, and 911 functionality. As cities grow and expand, they can encroach on the habitats of a wide variety of wild animals. In recent years, several Canadian cities have seen an upsurge in the number of coyotes within their boundaries, and some of the animals appear to be getting much too accustomed to being around people. That triggered a research project in Edmonton, which is showing some success in retraining coyotes to keep their distance.
Hi, my name is Colleen Cassidy St. Clair. I'm a professor at the University of Alberta. Together with my graduate student, Gabrielle Lajeunesse, we're conducting the Urban Coyote Intervention Program. This program is designed to conscript community volunteers to help us teach coyotes to be more wary of people in residential neighborhoods.
The goal of this project is never to get coyotes to get out of a neighborhood. So we do want coyotes to stay within the city of Edmonton, but what we're trying to do is to get them be more wary of people.
Hazing just means that you're subjecting an animal to some kind of treatment, a stimulus that it doesn't like. Aversive conditioning is basically doing hazing over and over again on the same animals to teach them an association with people. They begin to fear people and mistrust them, and that's how we could increase our ability to coexist with coyotes. In treatment neighborhoods, if the coyote allowed them to approach within 40 meters, then they elicited the aversive conditioning. They chased them while shouting or shaking a can full of rocks, throwing a tennis ball tied with flagging tape to emulate flattery, which is frightening to canids. Last year, we found that when animals were treated that way, they didn't come back for an average of over 37 days. And when they were just observed but not treated that way, coyotes were seen again in that location on an average of 10 days later.
I had quite a few sightings last year. At first I was quite nervous about it. They're kind of an intimidating animal, especially their reputation. But it became very much a relaxing, enjoyable experience for me. When I'd be out by myself before this project, I would see a coyote and tend to run away myself. And now I'm a lot more relaxed around the animals, and I don't think they're a threat to me.
That's it for CBC Windsor News. Good night.